The Dopamine Fast, or the Dopamine Detox, has been a growing practice that people today are starting to use in order to be more productive. It's been a growing trend in Silicon Valley. In today's society where there's so many distractions and entertainment, it's just so easy to just binge watch a show on Netflix instead of going to work. This new practice has helped so many people fight laziness and be more productive. Above ambition here, and in this video we're going to examine what the dopamine fast is, why it exists, does it really work, and how you can use it to better your life. By the end of the video, you'll gain a much better understanding of how a dopamine fast works and how you can use it to hack your brain to do the things that you don't want to do. Before we go over what a dopamine fast is, we first got to go over why it exists. And to do that, we need to explain a popular chemical known as dopamine. Dopamine is a type of neurotransmitter that helps us with many functions such as thinking, planning, mood, focus, and more. But the functions that we're concerned with in this video is motivation and pleasure. Basically, dopamine makes you feel good. It's the reward. Most of the reason why we do things is because we want dopamine. Why do we watch TV? Why can't we resist that piece of cake in the fridge? We just want that hit of dopamine. Everything you do releases a certain level of this chemical. But the problem comes from these two areas. The first is effort, or the amount of work it takes to get that hit of dopamine. The second is the level of reward, or the amount of dopamine that you get. These two factors are why we choose certain activities over others, even if we know that logically they're not good for us. Here's an example. Let's compare two activities: building a business and playing video games. Building a business requires tremendous effort that only rewards you with moderate hits of dopamine. The really big hits of dopamine come when you achieve something big, such as a big sale or a big milestone. But those take a really long time and don't happen very often. Video games, on the other hand, they're quick, they're easy, and they give high amounts of dopamine instantly. If we were to look at the effort/reward graph and compare the two, it's no contest why most people would rather play Call of Duty than build a business, even if building a business provides better long-term value. We just prefer low effort, high reward. See, the real problem comes when we continue to keep choosing these low effort, high reward activities because it builds stronger neural pathways in our brain each time we do it, and before we know it, it becomes a habit. And when it becomes a habit, then you eventually start to build a tolerance towards these activities. This causes your base dopamine threshold levels, or the amount of dopamine it takes for you to get a good high, to start rising, and it will take more and more amounts of dopamine to meet your new base level. Basically, it becomes harder to be satisfied. This is even worse if you compound it with other bad habits that are low effort, high reward. When your base level goes up, doing something like building a business will not produce enough dopamine, and so it becomes boring, and that's why you're not motivated. Instead, you'll keep chasing more and more of these low effort, high reward activities in order to satisfy your needs, further increasing your base levels. And this becomes a growing cycle in what I like to call the unproductive cycle. In today's society, with growing technology and comfort, it's easy to choose these instant high dopamine activities because there's just so many of them. It's why we're a generation that suffers from instant gratification. This is where the dopamine fast comes in. The dopamine fast, or the dopamine detox, is a practice in which people take a break from any unnecessary high dopamine stimulating activities for one day. This means no video games, no social media, no TV, no listening to music, and no junk food. Also, no talking to people unless you really have to. Essentially, by taking a break, you're trying to reset your brain. The theory is that you essentially starve yourself of dopamine so that your dopamine base level goes down, making even the most mundane activities become pleasurable. Hence why you're more inclined to feel more motivated and be more productive the day after. In simpler terms, you want to be so bored that even boring things become fun. This is great because not only does it make you feel more productive and motivated, it can also help you reevaluate your own life and break the unproductive cycle. So, does the dopamine fast work? Let's look at it from a scientific standpoint. A dopamine fast assumes that dopamine levels can be directly manipulated and controlled. In truth, there are certain levels of control that people do have over their dopamine through things such as exercising and eating healthy. Taking a break from these highly dopamine stimulating activities does also stop you from getting your fix of dopamine that you're used to, so it does help with breaking habits. But unfortunately, there is no scientific evidence that can show that you can fast from a natural neurotransmitter or reset your brain. Furthermore, it's too difficult to measure levels of dopamine since dopamine is very dynamic in nature, it's always changing. Furthermore, since the dopamine fast is a relatively new practice, there's not too much research on the scientific effects of a dopamine fast and how it can affect dopamine levels. Instead, this practice should be about fasting from the impulsive behaviors that give you high amounts of dopamine. Overall, we shouldn't count out the science as completely false, but due to the lack of evidence, all we can really do is consider it as theory. So, until more scientific research is conducted, all we can really go off of is from anecdotal evidence. And based on people's experiences, it's been positive. There's reasons why a lot of people do it, or why it's such a huge thing in Silicon Valley. Tons of people have seen benefits in their productivity levels. People have reported feeling more motivated, more focused, able to get more things done, and finding more joy in tasks that they used to find boring. Personally, for me, I've done the dopamine fast before, and I can agree with a lot of what these people are saying. In fact, I even credit the creation of this YouTube channel to it. I performed the dopamine fast sometime last August of 2019. For the whole day, I just turned off my phone and my laptop. I grabbed a notebook and a pen and went to the park. Sitting there in the park, at first I felt incredibly bored. It made me realize how much I distracted myself with YouTube, social media, Netflix, and more. For the first time, I felt like there was nothing to do. I've always struggled with meditation because I always found it too boring and I could never sit still. But with nothing else to do, I tried it, and for the first time, I actually meditated. I also wrote things down. I started to reevaluate my life. I wrote a bunch of questions such as where I wanted to go in life, what I wanted to do. I wrote down my dreams and passions, drafting different ideas and what kind of business I would create and how I would do it. That's when I started thinking about creating this channel. Back then, I had a vague idea of wanting to get into YouTube, but I was never sure. The dopamine fast helped me become certain that creating a YouTube channel dedicated to helping people reach their ambitions was something that I wanted to do. Overall, by doing this dopamine fast, it helped me reevaluate my life and figure out where I wanted to go. It was a pretty profound experience and I would definitely do it again. Okay, let's break down how you can do a dopamine fast. First, I want you to schedule a day where you can do this. Try to find a day where you have no obligations, no responsibilities. Weekends would be great because most people don't have classes or work. This may also require you to get work done earlier in order to free up time. On the day of the fast, what I recommend is to not have a set schedule. It's better to be spontaneous, so don't have anything planned. A notebook and a pen is all you need. Turn off your technology, keep your phone with you, but don't check social media. Use it only for necessary phone calls. Go on a walk. Really observe what's around you. Look at the trees, the ground, feel the air. Basically, be present. Also, I would recommend to try meditating. It helps you be more present. Lastly, with your notebook and pen, I want you to reevaluate your life by analyzing where you are in these 4 distinct areas. 1. Physical. Are you where you want to be physically? Are you satisfied with your body? Are you at least on the road there? 2. Mental. How is your mental health? How are you feeling about your life overall? Are you happy? 3. Social. How do you feel about your social life? Are you content with your friends? Are they high quality? Do they support you? Do you want more? 4. Professional. Where are you on your professional path? Are you doing what you love? Are you satisfied with your current job? Are you working towards a path that you're proud of? I want you to rate each of these on a scale of 1 to 10. If you aren't at least on a 7, write down why you aren't where you want to be. Write down what an exact 10 would look like. Be vivid. I want you to craft a very compelling future for yourself. Then, write down what your life would be like 5 to 10 years from now if you made those necessary changes to reach that 10. How great would your life be if you made your vision become a reality? Write how happy you would be. Next, you need to write how you can get there. What changes do you need to make? What strategies could you use? Finally, you need to write down what would happen if you continue doing what you've been doing. What would your future look like? Compare it to your vision. How different are they? By writing these down, you'll start to realize where your low effort, high reward activities are holding you back in. It also helps you reevaluate your life and make changes in order to start living a life that you can truly be proud of. If you do everything right, the next day you should feel a lot more motivated and ready to make changes. Worst case scenario, at least you'll be more aware of your current situation, and awareness is always the first step to change. Well, that's all for the video. If you liked or learned anything from the content of this video, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to never miss another upload. Let me know your thoughts on the Dopamine Fast and what your results were in the comment section below. Alright, thanks guys. Have a good one.